Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi LiveNoding. In this episode, I want to do a little bit of kind of improvisations using Blender animation nodes and dynamic paint. Let's get started. Basically, we're gonna start with a plane, and this is gonna be our canvas, and we're gonna use this Blender feature called dynamic paint, and we're gonna turn this into a canvas object. But we want to make sure that this canvas also has enough resolution. So I'm gonna add subdivisions and set it to simple, and then this should be on the top of dynamic paint. So once we have this set up, we're almost ready to go. I'm gonna increase the resolutions of the canvas so we can kind of paint on the vertices. So we are done with the canvas. I'm gonna save this real quick. So and dynamic paint experiment. I'm gonna start from like the very basic again. And we're gonna have a cube, and I will set this to dynamic paint brush, and by default the brush will give it like a blue color. We're gonna change this using animation nodes, and we want to be able to see the brush, so we're gonna turn this guy into wire. So there you go. This is gonna be our like a stamping, and animation nodes can do all kind of transformations to the brush, even like scaling or things like that. So it's gonna be pretty interesting, pretty simple. Let's see how it goes now, because I think it's a lot faster now with animation nodes and Blender. So go to animation nodes, new, and we're gonna grab our brush object. So it's gonna be object transform output. Just grab our objects there, and we're gonna modify the locations using animation nodes. We're not gonna change the Z, so we can actually simply turn it off here. So if we are using like before we turn it off, we're gonna zero it out and turn off the Z. And if we are using like random vector for the position, we're gonna get this kind of random stamping. So if we actually run these animations and then change the stamping, we're gonna get that. And that's actually pretty interesting, where you can go back to the brush setting and change the alpha and reduce the alpha. So if we play back the animations and do the random stamping again, you can see there's a alpha being taken into considerations. The color itself, we can change it on the fly as well. So let me try. Just plug in the frame into the seed. Now we can see it's kind of stamping it like that. And if we are changing this color manually, we can control how the stamping is gonna work. But of course, we're gonna do the randomization of the color using animation nodes as well. So this guy right here, object transform output, we can also use object transform object attributes output. For the objects, I'm not sure if we can just plug that in. Yeah, it seems to work. And then we just need to grab this color value, just right click and then copy data path and paste it into here. And I think we are ready to change the color. So if I just use the vector in, 3 values, plug into this guy, we can control the color here. So this is actually RGB, okay? So be careful, it's not like HSV. I'm not sure if animation nodes has a color conversion. Maybe it does. There's a mixed color and choose color, but choose color is actually like a color format. You need to separate the color in order to use this. So we can do it this way, like this is like gonna be HSV, and separate color is gonna be supposed to be RGB, and it goes into this value. Let me try that. Combine vector. So we only need the XYZ, which is representing the RGB. That's why I have to do it this way. and combine color. So this is going to be HSV and the color plug into this guy. This is going to be the conversion, you see. And this goes back in there. Now we can control the color using the HSV. So random number. So what this is going to be a float, goes into the hue. And so what's happening here again, this is a combined color, basically generating a color using this value RGBA or hue saturation value, and this separate the color, which also convert the HSV into RGB that we can use as this tree value plug into this guy. So by doing this, if we are using the random value on the hue, we're gonna have like a color stamping using this hue color. So yeah, there you go. That's actually pretty simple and easy, and I can explain it under 10 minutes. So I think that's pretty good. And I found this to be quite interesting way to generate like a random texture or more natural kind of texture. I know this is like the setup currently is just stamping all this random color, but if you control the colors a little bit more, like using certain color palette, you can get quite interesting design. And this is currently only like it's painting the vertex color. You can make this guy like super high res, or you can also use a feature of dynamic paints that's actually painting at the higher resolutions. If you are using this instead of vertex painting, you're using image sequence, you're gonna output like a higher resolutions pixel quality image. If you, I think you need to turn on, this is like the baking frame, and then you turn on anti-aliasing, and you want to turn on image sequence and then set the resolution here. This is gonna output at higher resolutions, but I like to see it on the screen. That's why I'm using this vertex. And if you are changing this the brush with any kind of 3D shapes, it's gonna update it as well. I think subsurface scaling. Oh, we probably need to apply the modifier. So anyway, apply. Now this guy is painting in the circular kind of way, and this is random, and we can set the randomness here, modify all the hue value, saturations, all that. Let's increase this actually a little bit higher, even like 10. Now it's gonna be much slower, but at a higher resolutions. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for this live noding. It's not too hard. I guess it's pretty simple, and it's pretty cool setup using animation nodes and Blender Dynamic Paint. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.